Welcome. We're going to start with a little video here, and then we'll get going.
At Columbus Academy, we begin each day with optimism about the future, our students, and the positive impact they'll make on our rapidly changing world. We're clear-eyed about the big challenges and even bigger opportunities they'll face along the way, and the critical thinking skills and empathy they'll need to become leaders, ready to take the world head-on. While we're proud of our unparalleled tradition of academic excellence, we know scholastic achievement alone is not enough. Instead, it's our proven focus on the whole student, which ensures that they thrive, igniting their curiosity, empowering them to develop a lasting appetite for learning, and the confidence to live with intention. This is the difference between simply achieving and thriving. Because every parent's fondest wish is that their child discovers their passion and purpose. With opportunity comes responsibility. So we expect mutual respect and service from every student. These differences are realized by celebrating individuality and authenticity, and inform our belief that because the world is diverse, our school must be too. Our 231-acre campus provides space to think, play, and forge lifelong bonds across our tight-knit community of students, faculty, and families. At Columbus Academy, we teach like their future depends on it. Because it does. We're excited for you to tour our world. From our intimate classrooms to our performance and art spaces. And from our modern athletic facilities to our array of innovative outdoor learning spaces. Columbus Academy is a place to flourish.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first virtual event for the middle school Neiman program. My name is Patrick Scahan. I'm the Director of Admission here at Columbus Academy. On behalf of the entire community, thank you for joining us. We're excited to kind of share a little bit with you about our middle school. One of the things I love about that video, there's a lot of cool imagery in there, but right at the beginning is the sixth grade hallway at the start of the academic day, which is where I get to walk through every morning as well, coming from where dropping my daughters off. So it's a wonderful start to the day to have that energy and enthusiasm of those sixth graders running around. We do have an excellent program lined up for you today, but before I turn it over to our featured guests, I just wanted to take a minute to root the conversation in Columbus Academy's mission. At its core, Academy is an institution that rewards effort and accomplishment in our students while fostering compassion, respect, and moral courage in their everyday lives. Our ultimate goal is to sustain a community of bold, joyful students that are going to become thoughtful, responsible, and confident citizens, eager to engage in the ever-changing world. You'll see as we go through and we talk about some of the things, this mission statement really does guide every decision we make academically, every club we sponsor, every sport, every team, every co-curricular opportunity we have. Again, a lot of you have been to our campus already, but in this virtual environment, I did want to ground us in where we actually are and what our place and our sense of place looks like. 231 beautiful acres for the students to explore. Middle school, right, really in the center and heart of it all. Not just age, but also physically located in the middle of our youngest learners all the way through our kids who are launching into college, which is a great spot. Um, Here today with us, we have three amazing guests. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, but a couple administrators in the middle school, and then also a parent who can share their experience with you. Shaka, go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
Good morning, everyone. Apologize for that. I'm glad you're here this morning. My name is Shaka Arnold. I'm the head of middle school. This is my 23rd year as a middle school teacher, administrator, educator. I have four children here well, three currently at Columbus Academy, one who graduated in 2024. Currently have a senior, a sophomore, and an eighth grader. Three girls and one boy. And yeah, I'm looking forward to telling you more about our middle school.
And
Hi, everyone. My name is Ed Ree. I am a graduate of Columbus Academy back in 1993. My two sons currently attend Academy. I'm the associate head of middle school, and my two boys are in sixth grade and ninth grade. So I have one in middle school currently, and one who just left the middle school and enjoying that transition as well.
Good morning. I'm Angela Mahaffey, and I'm a parent, a CA parent. My daughter is Mia. She is currently a seventh grader, and she started here last year. She began in middle school in sixth grade at Columbus Academy, and I'm here to share my experience as a parent.
well, thank you all for being here with us. Without further ado, we'll kind of launch right into our conversation. And Shaka has prepared some slides, and we're ready to go.
Well, again, good morning, everyone. And what I'd like to do is talk about the overall goals and vision of our middle school. What you see here on the screen are four elements of middle school that kind of encompass everything we do. One, a big part of our program is advisory, which is the way in which we build community on each grade level. And advisory is like what similar to homeroom, that kind of idea where you have one teacher for a group of students. However, more than homeroom, it's a time during the day and time during the week where kids meet multiple times a week for about a half hour, and they meet in about a group of about 8 to 10 students. And the regular meeting and curriculum that we weave into advisory and the activities are what we say are the main way we build community on a small level in the middle school. So advisory is a large part of what we do. The advisor is an advocate and for each student and a person that can be the go-between for a child and the school and the family and the school or parents and the school parents or guardians and the school. We operate on a grade level team model, which means sixth grade team, seventh grade team, eighth grade team. It's connected to our advisory in the way that all of sixth grade core teachers will have a sixth grade advisory and all the students in advisory are in sixth grade. Seventh grade, all the seventh grade core teachers are advisors and they have just seventh graders in their advisory, and then the same on the eighth grade. And a different model from that is where you have advisories at schools and there are varying grade levels of students in the advisory, excuse me. So you may have sixth, seventh, and eighth graders all in one advisory. However, we operate on a team model, which is one grade in all of our advisories. And a major or the primary objective for our kids, especially kids this age, is that by the time a student is finished with eighth grade, that they are academically prepared, academically equipped to take the next step into high school. And here, academic rigor, for lack of a better word, or academic preparation is kind of foundational to what we do. There's no give in that regard. We want students to be prepared for upper school, prepared to take on the challenges of upper school, and then ultimately, as our upper school head would say, all paths lead to their preparation for college and that process. And it's the last thing on here. However, it is probably the most important, especially for kids at this age. And all of the things that we're doing, we make plenty of time for kids to have fun. Middle school age kids need to get energy out. They need to participate in activities. They need to have good time with their peers. So it's very important for them to have time in the day to let their energy out. And we have actually tomorrow we have sixth graders sledding. We have recess every day, sometimes more than one. All of our kids are in PE classes, and we have activities that we do throughout the week also, where teachers offer different activities that range from Disney fun to playing cards for our kids to do throughout the day. Sixth grade, there are three themes and one for each grade. And that's that we want to make sure that kind of is a part of the program for each grade. Or I would say a better way to say that is there are certain things we want to make sure we get accomplished with kids by the time they're finished in each grade. Sixth grade is all about personal responsibility. Our sixth grade teachers came up with the term studenting, which is a term that refers to them getting used to traveling around to different classes, having different teachers, having to manage the learning management system we use, Google Classroom, learning how to communicate with teachers, learning how to manage their time. This is where kids start to learn the process of advocating for themselves and speaking on their behalf to adults. It's a time of evolving and growing friendships and roles, finding new friends, learning about more about the friendships you have, finding your place in middle school. And two examples of the activities that are the kind of signature activities of sixth grade are we go on a trip to Camp Fitch, which is in Pennsylvania, for a week for about 3 days right when school starts. And we have a signature experience called the Naval Battle, which is a combination of science and social studies where the kids get in pools, they build makeshift, I don't know what you call them. They build makeshift ships, but they're basically foam, 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 those thingies that the noodles, they're noodles, air mattresses, and a lot of tape. And they battle in the pool with the naval battle. Seventh grade is where they've had a year in sixth grade to kind of get acclimated to what's expected of them and how to navigate the environment, and personal initiative becomes much more prominent. The amount of work increases, quite frankly. The amount of things that have to be organized, especially outside of school, increase. So there's more of a demand for them to function a particular way and have some handle on the things they need to do and how they're going to do them. And they get more heavily involved in service. We expect them to be responsible for themselves or to continue to grow in that regard, the school and others. So as the relationships start to change in seventh grade and the students start to mature and start to go through a lot of development socially, emotionally, physically, they have to be responsible more for their actions, more for how they treat the school, and quite frankly, a little more accountable because they're maturing and becoming older, more accountable to the different standards and the things that we expect. And kids in seventh grade, they start to develop a true sense of themselves. Their sense of who they are is growing exponentially in seventh grade or at this age, which typically aligns with seventh grade. And we have a Creek trip in seventh grade. Every grade has a class trip. This seventh grade sponsors something called Gratitude Day, which is a day of service, but also a day where they express their gratitude to people in the community and people outside the immediate community. And a signature event in seventh grade is Organ Day, where it's a science project where our faculty main science teacher brings in families or families, doctors and scientists and who are associated with the school through students, and they come in and they essentially share all things and everything about the human body. And we have a lot of organs and bones uh, in school on that day, and a lot of medical professionals. And eighth grade is hopefully the culmination or all this being brought together. Eighth graders are now tasked with being leaders in the school, so leading initiatives in the school with the younger students. Community service is much more prominent. Much of the activities that they do, that they lead, have to do with service to the school. Um, Continue to build the relationships. Relationships is a common thread throughout each grade, building the relationships with faculty and with their peers. And more kind of distinct in eighth grade is students have come to some sense of who they are as learners. They're self-directed, and they're also able to articulate what things work well for them as students. They have developed a system of communicating with faculty, developed a rhythm of when to ask for help and who they should go to. And they're also clear on what things work for them, how to study, how to manage their time. They're clear on that by the time they're finished with eighth grade. We have a program in eighth grade called Explorer Buddies, where eighth graders develop a relationship with our youngest students, our 3-year-old students. We have a Washington D.C. trip is our main trip that year for our eighth graders, and eighth graders do speeches that are not open to anyone else except their peers, where they kind of do a mini junior speech, which you may have learned about, which students in upper school do, which is a graduation requirement. But this is that on a much smaller, less visible or less public scale. And they also, we do through our history department, we do a mock Supreme Court activity. So those are the general to some degree and specific aspects of each grade level, and hopefully it'll generate some questions for you to ask about.
Hi everyone, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about in more detail about our middle school curriculum. So we do have 5 core classes that all students take. So of course, language arts, which is English, math, science, social studies, and everyone takes a world language. And of those world languages, they can choose between Latin, Spanish, or Mandarin Chinese. So those are the 3 choices that the kids have for their world languages. As Shaka mentioned, every student takes physical education, PE, and there's also a music elective that everyone is involved with as well. So they choose either choir, orchestra, or band. And so kids get to kind of pick and choose. In 6th grade, they go through a rotation where they experience all 3 classes and then decide whether they would like to pick up an instrument or raise their voice up in song. On the other side of things for our curriculum, we do have what we call allied courses. In sixth grade, there is a rotation of four different allieds that the kids take. Kind of gives them a preview of what is available in the allied spaces for our middle school. So in sixth grade, they take health, they take theater, they have a quarter in the makerspace, and then a quarter in art, in studio art. From there, in seventh and eighth grade, there are always two courses that are required. One of them is health. So we have the students take health every single year. And then either it's makerspace or it's theater, depending on seventh or eighth grade. But then otherwise, for the other semester, kids actually get to pick and choose an elective to follow their own passion. So as they're getting to know themselves, as they're thinking about who they are as people and developing that sense of self, we ask them to then in seventh and eighth grade, they do have the opportunity to kind of express that in terms of their allied choice. And so listed on this page are a couple of the allied electives that seventh and eighth graders get to choose. And so throughout the seventh and eighth grade time, they will have basically a full year at the end of it of an allied elective that they can choose. On the next screen, here's a sample schedule. So this is a seventh grade schedule. Please don't be overwhelmed. I know it's a lot, but what I'd like you to do is actually take a look at choose a color and then follow that color through the schedule. So for example, if you pick green, you'll see that that's a social studies class, and you'll see that that social studies class, which is one of our core classes, meets four times in our 6 day rotation. So our social studies teacher will have essentially 4 hours of class time with all of their students through the course of that 6 day rotation. You'll also see the light blue, that's website design. This particular student is taking our website development course as their allied elective, so they will have that for an entire semester. If you look at the kind of hot pink color, you see that they are in choir for their music elective. They have chosen choir to be their music elective, and so you see that meets 3 times per rotation. Our school day begins at 8:05, so from when they arrive here on campus until 8:05, they're checking in with teachers, they're in their grade level hallways and kind of hanging out. You'll see that from 10:15 to 10:45 is our community block. We have lunch and recess from 11:55 to 12:35. And then every day we also have a flex period. So flex is essentially a structured study hall where all students and all teachers are available. So if any student needs extra help, you can get it during that time. We have something called a math lab this year, where Katie Castle, who is our curriculum coordinator for mathematics, she actually opens up her classroom to any student looking to get help for math. And so it's a really wonderful time for kids to get extra help, or where they can get a kind of a jump start on their homework. And then finally, just a little bit about the community. So Shaka talked about our advisory and our activities. There's a list of possible activities. The other thing that I wanted to mention were our after-school clubs. So we do have a number of after-school clubs available, and these are all just part of our program. We have a math club where kids who are just interested in doing challenging math problems and exploring mathematics kind of outside of the realm of their current math class, they have an opportunity to do that in math club. And then we have math counts where it's actually a competition. It's competitive math tests that the kids engage in. We have a science club as well as an environmental club. The environmental club is actually really wonderful, where they organize and then run our Earth Day celebration in April. So the kids actually, there's a lot of leadership that happens through the course of that club. We also have a robotics club that's very popular. We do have the robotics allied elective. This is a little bit different. Sometimes they do some competitive work, but they're also just engaging with robots, doing some programming, and just trying to foster a sense of fun with the technology. And then finally, during lunch, we also have other programs like our Spanish Cafe, where kids who want to bring their lunch in and just speak Spanish for the entire lunch period, they have an opportunity to do that. And then we have initiatives like our Wellness Warriors, which is run by our health teacher, Tay Hines. These are about kind of health initiatives, whether it's mental health or physical well-being. And so one of the things that they run is our Cozy Cafe, which the first one actually happened this morning. The kids came in a little bit early, got to kind of order a hot drink, and they just had a chance to kind of reset and kind of like ease into their day, which was pretty nice considering how cold it is. It's nice to have to start their day with some hot chocolate and kind of move into their day that way.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ed and Shaka. And we're going to transition to Angela, who's going to tell you a little bit about her experience as a parent in the middle school so far. So
Yeah.
far.
So I'm laughing first at our family picture I sent you. That was a selfie, and there are a bunch of people in the background, and I was trying to minimize them or make them go away. And there's a line down it now. I see that it's enlarged. Anyway, I'm Angela Mahaffey, and like I said, my daughter Mia is a seventh grader here. I just got on here to share my parent experience so far. We've been here for a year and a half, and it's quickly become a very special place to our family. So before I talk a little bit about the experience we've had so far, I do want to kind of share 1 or 2 minutes of where we came from and how we came to Columbus Academy, just to provide some context for that. So we are in a large school district that is, a lot of accolades for, five-star school district with the high state report card, and seemingly checked all the bells and whistles for the proficiency testing and all that stuff. So our daughter started off in kindergarten and finished there through fifth grade at our local elementary. And she, over the course of her time there, became kind of decreasingly happy to the point that she was just didn't want to go to school, fourth or fifth grade, always upset, a lot of tears. And we couldn't quite put our finger on it because she academically was doing exceptionally well. She socially had friends, and she, behaviorally, the teachers all said that she was, kind to others and great in class, loved to have her, joy, all that kind of stuff. So we weren't really sure where her angst was coming from, but toward the end of her time there, we had a parent-teacher conference, and we were told that, the teacher said to me, we absolutely love having Mia in our class. She is always on task, and most days I don't even know she's here. And well, I knew that was meant to be a compliment, because this teacher had her hands full. She had about 26, 28 kids in her class, and there were a lot of behavioral issues. As a parent, it was the big light bulb moment where I realized that while my child couldn't articulate it, she was spending her time largely invisible at school. And so, her frustration was that she was just doing the task. She was doing what she was supposed to do, keeping to herself, not getting in trouble, but she had no voice at school. She was just there doing what she's supposed to be doing, and it wasn't a very enlightening or engaging place. So in short, that was kind of what got us to look and evaluate and decide that we needed to change her environment for her education. So we went on a path to look at different private schools in the area, my husband and I, and we kind of narrowed it down to 2 different schools. And we wanted Mia to be in the driver's seat, though, on this, and really feel good about where she was going to go. So it pretty much came down to the shadow days. And the other school just she didn't enjoy the shadow day, didn't want to go there, didn't want to leave her friends that she knew. And then she came here. She shadowed a fifth grade class because at the time she was in fifth grade. And I remember being in the admissions office, and she whispered to me quietly and said, "This is amazing. I want to go here. I want to go here." And she was just so excited. And it was so nice to see her, thrilled and excited and engaged and, sharing all of her stories about the experience. So that kind of started everything for us. We did the application forms and she did the ERB testing. I think we were in the very last testing slot because we were doing this in like January, February of the school year, and she got accepted. And that's kind of the past to kind of put in context of where we were starting from. And so if I compare and contrast that to the kid I picked up every day in fifth grade, upset, crying, complaining about something, to today, it is a 180, a whole different child. I couldn't be more thankful for the kid I get now. Like when she comes home, she's every day it's some new story about some teacher, something that was said in class. There's, "Mom, did you know that in Japan they have these high-speed rails and they go 200 miles per hour? And do you know that they have that?" And it's just one story after another. And she's fully engaged, and she's definitely not invisible, and she's definitely participating. And it's just, that's like the big thing for me as a parent, that I'm so happy that she's found that. And if I think back to, okay, well, what are the different makers? Why is it like this here? I kind of hone in on three things. And one of them is without question, the faculty here. My experience has been, for the past year and a half, every single teacher, not just one extraordinary teacher, but every single teacher my child comes home and talks about, has this kind of relationship with. It's give and take. She's participating. She's just thrilled to learn. She's curious. Again, I go back to this kid who didn't want to go to school and was upset all the time, to now, just last week, they started all these clubs after school that Mr. Reed talked about. And she's now the kid who can't get enough. And she has now gone to the creative writing club. Her English teacher, or ELA teacher, does. Loves that. And on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, she just started the environmental club that her science teachers do. And on Thursday, she does math club because she cannot get enough. And she's just so wants to like soak it all in and just be a part of it. And so, I mean, I love the teachers. They're amazing. They're passionate. Should you go here, if you go to the curriculum nights, you'll feel that passion when they all talk about what they're doing in the class. They're so engaging, so passionate, all of them, just hands down home run. So that's a huge thing. The other thing that I notice is that there's just this vibe, and I don't know the right word for it, but there is a positivity. There's just this excitement, electricity when you're on campus. I volunteer with PACA, which is the PTA organization on campus sometimes, and I'm here and I just sit and observe the students or the faculty and just interactions. And it's just these little things, these little anecdotal things that I take away every time I'm here, that there's just something very special about. You feel like everyone wants to be here and everyone respects. Just last month, I was setting up some donuts and coffee for some parents, and I was watching, it was over lunch, and the upper school kids were out at their recess, and it was warmer, and they were playing, girls and boys were playing football together in the green space in front of the dining hall. And I was watching them play, and there's no teacher around, it was just them. And when they all had to leave at 1:30, I think they had to go back to class. And they all just walked together and they shook hands or high-fived each other. And there's just this vibe that there's just respect, their friendships, there's just something special. So that's the other thing, that I think the environment is just huge for my daughter and her happiness here. And then the third thing is the facilities themselves are amazing. The space they have compared to a crowded school that we came from, just room to spread out and explore and do all these great things that they have, the ability to do is, I think, goes a long way too. So, that's been our experience. We're very happy. I don't want to say that there's never a bad day. Of course, my daughter's 12 and she's, has her moments. She was upset the other night because she joined this writing club and she was told to, maybe try there's some kind of a contest coming up, but she read the rules and it's 13 and up and she's only 12. And so she's mad because but I mean, that's a great problem, right? She's engaged. She wants to do something. So I'm like, well, maybe you ask if you can do it as a 12-year-old. And that's a great problem to have. So it's a whole different set of situations and stuff now. So I can't say enough great things. So we're very happy and we're excited to see her continue to grow. And I think that's all I have to say.
Well,
If
thank
anybody
you.
has
It's
any
awesome.
questions, I'm happy to share.
Thank you. And I know there's using this webinar format, we would love for you guys, we do have some time for question and answer. If you could submit those in the chat, we will kind of elevate them up and ask people. I loved hearing those stories. I'm a public school kid myself, Angela, and my middle
I
school
am
years.
too.
Yeah.
I
I
am
don't
too.
remember my middle school years, but I do remember
Yeah.
our teachers ushering us out the door and closing it so they could have their alone time. And there's
Yeah.
never a closed door in that hallway that I walk through
Yeah.
every morning. So it's
Yeah.
been a good time. Um, is there, if we do have a few people, if you have any questions, Shaka and Ed, I'd love to ask, just because we talked about the advisory program, how are those advisories kind of built? Like how, what thought goes into putting each kid in each group?
A lot
Yeah.
to is the short answer. Um, you know, we gather we gather information from a lot of different places, not just not just from the current teachers and current faculty who know the kids really well and know their friendships and know the ins and outs, but also the fact that they're working with the kids every single day. They're doing a lot of group projects. They're doing a lot of group work, both in small group, large group. And so they get to see the kids interacting in a lot of different ways. And so from that information, we see what friendships really help and serve each individual student, and then which ones may not necessarily be as helpful, right? And so as a result, that kind of forms the basis of it. But then from there, we actually we'll form the groups, and then there comes a review process where we're putting those lists in front of a lot of people to make sure that we're getting a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different information from a lot of different sources to make sure that the kids are being served. Because we have that opportunity to change up our advisories every single year. So every single year, as the kids are changing and as the friendships are moving, and new friendships are emerging and old friendships are stagnating, perhaps, we're able to kind of meet the students where they are.
I will share one more slide with everyone. If anybody is interested, just please do use that chat function still. But just to wrap up, again, we'd like to kind of give you the outline of the process, and I know many of you are somewhere along this path. Most often we begin with the family tour, where we can walk you around campus and show you classrooms and introduce you to teachers and coaches and students. And then we do have a deadline coming up for a priority deadline of December 15th for the parent application. It's the only part that needs to be done um, by December 15th. That you will get a reduced application fee, and then you also get priority registration for scheduling events such as the Shadow Day and the Parent Admission Conversation and IC testing on campus. we do have a student application supplement. It is part of getting to know your student. I always talk about the triangle of of the admission process is getting to know the family and the parents, getting to know the student and hearing about them, which is also part of the interview process, and then hearing from teachers and kind of figuring out where in that matrix that we really want to know who that student is, and hopefully. The interview and the student supplement helps us with the advisory groups as the new students are coming in. And then the shadow day and admission parent conversation are on campus. And we try to schedule those on the same day so that you guys can be here. We do ask that all applicants have submitted their application and their application supplement before you schedule the shadow day. It just helps us guide who we place your student with. And then IC testing, we do have testing on campus, which would be more of a standardized test in desks and with a proctor reading. But then you can also take the IC test at home on the computer as well. There's a digital option for that. And then we need a math and English teacher and teacher recommendations. And that is essentially the process. And I don't see, Elizabeth, I haven't seen any more questions pop up. So if there's no other questions, we're right sort of on time with the 10:45. So I appreciate everybody joining us. Hopefully you got to know a couple of the people in the middle school, a few of the families, or one family, but got to know our middle school a little bit more. And we do encourage you to, apply by that deadline or come visit for a tour and just get on campus and feel this place because the middle school at Columbus Academy is truly a special place. I have a kindergartner who's collecting bones in the woods on Forest Friday, so I'm excited for her to do Organ Day. And then I gave an upper school tour today where it was an advanced anatomy class where they were actually getting into the science of the body. So I'm seeing from our seat just how these things scaffold and grow at this school, and I'm excited to show it off to you guys.
Hope to
So
see you here.